This is Experience Fulton, Healthy Aging, a podcast for and about older adults. I'm Ladisa Onilagu. You're invited to experience this wonderful county and its players who are addressing issues affecting the fastest growing population. We're all aging, so why not do it in the healthiest and most engaged way possible? Welcome to episode 1. Let's get started. Joining me today is Beth Casey, and a resident of Fulton County, and she's here to talk with me about dementia-friendly Fulton. Beth, welcome.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you very much for asking me.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself first and your experience with Fulton County.
Well, I have to say I'm a transplant, but I figured that I've lived in Fulton County longer than I've lived in Savannah, Georgia. I've been here about 50 years. My original reason for coming here was to go to Georgia State University. And I'm in the healthcare profession. I'm a physical therapist and a healthcare administrator. And over the time I've been here, I was even here before 400 was existing going north.
Okay.
I remember my very first job at Northside Hospital, and then after that working in a skilled facility and just having my eyes open to what are these cognitive challenges that older adults are having.
Yeah, it's great. Well, I'm glad you're here. Let's go ahead. Just tell us a personal story that you have with dementia.
I think for me, it started even before I went to college. When I was a teenager, 16, time where you want to go out and date and have fun, one of my grandmothers developed cognitive impairment. The way I knew it was we had watched The African Queen one night, and I left her garage apartment, which has 20 metal steps going down, and she has to walk across a courtyard to get to her house. And at 11 o'clock that night, and I had been gone for 3 hours, she's knocking at the door thinking crocodiles are coming after her. And, my mom, who's a social worker, kind of realized something's going on. We didn't know really what it was. But what it meant for me personally is that as a 16-year-old, I had to pick one date night and the other night on the weekend that I would have to spend the night there all night. And I had so many challenges. I just have to say I'm embarrassed. I didn't probably treat my grandmother as good as I could have because I didn't really know what to do.
Yeah.
And then that just kind of led on into my realizing that, my cousin and I were both going to college, and that was going to leave my mom as the sole caregiver. Subsequently, from the caregiver burden, she died early. And I made a kind of a vow when I was in healthcare, I'm going to learn about this disease, and I'm going to see what we could do to help both those with it and those caring for it.
Beth, you've painted a wonderful picture of a very difficult situation, and something you just said made me remember a statement that I often hear: the caregiver's life and well-being and health is impacted far more than the one that they're caring for, their loved one, and that's the case for your mom.
It's the case. They actually say the caregiver stress burden just for taking care of someone with dementia is twice that of any other physical ailment that they'd be caring for.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about the numbers that I've looked at regarding dementia, which is actually a term, not a disease, but an umbrella to describe what over, let's say, 150 different types of dementia, according to an 11 Alive news report that I saw earlier in 2024. So 188,000 of these individuals diagnosed with Alzheimer's live in Georgia. And then 14.1% of Fulton County's 65 and older population have Alzheimer's disease. These numbers are not new to you.
Nope.
Did these stats compel you, in addition to your history and your personal experience, to do something tangible about the disease?
They do, but if you add to that, not only my personal experience, it's really the tip of the iceberg. Because what we see out there is that 60% of the people live in the community that have dementia, and half of them are living alone. So you don't even have a caregiver living with them. So it really is going to involve the community helping and coming together to have a better awareness of how they can help out. Additionally, the caregiver burden, even if families are having to travel, we know with the distance in Atlanta to get somewhere, you're not getting anywhere quick. Try to provide that support and try to be working at the same time. And what we call it the sandwich generation, raising your own children.
Yes.
So it's very compelling to want to do something about it. And so when I joined the Council of Elder Affairs and they encouraged me to maybe look into this and see what we could do in Fulton County, that got me extremely excited.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a good connection to the proclamation that the Fulton County Board of Commissioners issued in 2023, proclaiming and signaling Fulton County as a a dementia-friendly county. Explain to our listeners and our viewers what exactly is dementia-friendly.
Well, Dementia Friendly County is a place that will promote respect and support for individuals living with dementia and their care partners. It also encourages early identification because dementia has such a stigma attached with it. It really is almost 6 years, if you can even imagine, before someone gets diagnosed. And so that creates a problem in and of itself, and then knowing where to go and how to access it. So that's what Dementia Friendly will do. It'll give awareness of resources and supports. It'll also look at environments. Can we make our environments easier for someone to dementia to understand how to interact? And lastly, it'll help our government and first responders in how better to respond or to know people that have dementia in the community if for some reason they were to get lost. So it's really neighbors helping neighbors, businesses helping those with dementia. So folks can go out and have a good experience in a restaurant. So people can go to the bank, and if they can't quite use the ATM, maybe someone can come up and explain to them in a little slower term what they need to do.
Okay, so it's nothing new in terms of being a neighbor, but what's new about it is making sure that the community is informed and aware about dementia, how to identify it in possibly a neighbor in nearby. You just said something about the life or the routine of someone before diagnoses, going to the bank, going to the grocery store, attending church, eating out. And you and I talked a little bit about this, and I want you to share more about the experience of how this could look. So our family, we go into a restaurant. We don't think anything of it. It's loud, it's noisy, but how would someone with dementia be affected by that? And then what are the expectations of maybe a restaurant becoming a part of this dementia-friendly concept?
Well, most people don't realize, unless they've had some basic training, that you can't really know what's affecting someone, because if you've seen one person with dementia, you've seen one person with dementia, because it affects different parts of the brain for different types of dementia. But what we do know is it's very sensory impacting. So vision fields are narrowed. You may look at, we see the world in 180 degrees. Someone with dementia may only see 90 degrees. So it's a tunnel vision effect. On top of that, noises, all kind of noises aren't filtered out. Like if there's a buzz of an air conditioner, you're going to hear that with someone talking, with someone shutting a door, all at the same time, making environments difficult to engage in. So a restaurant, for instance, maybe a restaurant offering a dementia-friendly time, maybe once a week where it's a little bit quieter, where it's back in an area which is easier to navigate. Training the servers to ask the family what are some of the favorites of that particular individual, so they're not overwhelmed with the menu and the multiple choices. It's just ways to make things easier.
Okay. Beth, is this a new idea that was birthed in Fulton County, or is this something that's happening across the country or maybe even other parts of the world?
It actually is a global movement, and the state of Georgia adopted what's called Dementia Friends USA, and we're part of that. And as that, what we're doing is seeking to, across the nation, as the world has, help people understand what dementia is, because it's a growing diagnosis for many people, how dementia affects people, like I just talked about, the vision and the hearing and the sensory perceptions, and then how can we personally help make a difference in the lives of people. So we're friends helping friends.
Okay. Well, this podcast is a part of the Department of Senior Services. And so in Fulton County, we have 4 adult day health programs that provide compassionate community group setting programming for individuals with cognitive decline or mobility issues. So it's a great way to support caregivers who are loving and taking care of those with dementia. But we know we can't be all things to all people. So, talk to me a little bit about becoming a dementia champion, or the different ways that anyone listening to today's show can be start getting work start working on helping those with dementia.
Well, the Dementia Friends Initiative is simply a train the trainer approach. So, a dementia champion is someone who's a little bit more extensively trained and can be able to impart that knowledge to community members or someone at a senior center or someone who attends a senior center how to be a good dementia friend. And so, what we're looking to try to do is to grow this effort. We want to raise up more champions in all the nodes and all the cities that we have in Fulton County so they can become stakeholders, engage people in their community to want to have dementia friends training in neighborhoods, in banks, in pharmacies, in grocery stores. So it becomes a grassroots evolution of training.
Okay, so it sounds like you've got a clarion call to action for those that are in the community and the listening audience. I saw another stat that there are more than 170,000 dementia friends across the country. I didn't talk to you about this before the show, but do you have an idea of how many dementia champions currently exist in the state of Georgia?
I'd have to take a guess, but I'd probably say we probably have maybe 150
Okay.
champions and maybe 300 friends. And we want to grow that because, our county's large. And every day or every week, I get a call from a different organization, a church that wants to develop something for in their church, a neighborhood who wants to do something in their community center, um, a bank who might want to do training. And so we just need to raise up more champions so they can help train more friends.
So point our listeners and our viewers into taking that first step. Where should they start?
If they want to become a dementia champion right now, Dina McDonald, who is working with the Georgia Alzheimer's and related dementia task force, trains trainers. Okay, so she'll train you as a champion. Then after that, you can go and train dementia friends. So we've been pointing people to Dina, or they can contact me at bethc@caravita.com, and you can put that also on your podcast information, and I can direct them to her as well. Then after that, if they just want to become a dementia friend just in their neighborhood, the people that we're putting together in our coalition are all champions. We can go out and help do training along with other people in the state to build the effort.
Okay. Beth, do you have any closing thoughts or additional information that would be helpful?
I, you know, we're a little slow here in the U.S. We really worked a lot, and the Alzheimer's Association did a great job with working toward cure. But now we need to work toward care as well. And so, what I'd encourage everybody is to think about the possibility that you will probably know somebody in your neighborhood or in your family that has this disease. And wouldn't it be wonderful that you could be the person who made a difference in that person's life, who made it easier for them to live in the community and to interact? And so that's what I'd encourage people to think about. This doesn't take much of your time. It's an hour to become a friend and a couple hours to become a champion. So why don't you join our effort and make dementia friendly Fulton happen?
Beth, thank you so much for joining us. I think you've got one other special story for us.
I do. As we think about the community, I heard this story from a woman that told it in Australia, and she had been living with the disease for about 9 years. She lives independently in a housing complex, and her message was, I get along with a little help from my friends. If I can't find where I need to go, they point me in the right direction. If I can't understand my mail, they help me understand that. And that's what I want for Fulton County. We all can do better with just a little help from our friends.
That's perfect, Beth. And to you, our friends, we hope that you have learned more information about Dementia Friendly Fulton and encouraged to forge new ways of becoming friends with someone with dementia. For more information, contact our star line at 404-613-6000, or you can email us at seniorservices@fultoncountyga.gov. I also encourage you to share this story with others. Until next time on Experience Fulton Healthy Aging. Goodbye, friends.